tragedy hits, life is broken, never to be what it was before. The pieces don't fit. What looked perfect is falling apart, ragged and scarred, and the heart is torn. Don't let me build a house in this valley of tragedy, and don't let me stay here and cling to this sorrow and bitterness that rises up. Friend, let me take your hand. Give me the strength to stand and keep on walking. Thought I moved on, then a memory out of the blue pulls me down again. I sit with this pain, holding tightly, don't want to let go. Will I dare to let go? The choice is mine. And don't let me build a house in this valley of tragedy. Don't let me stay here and cling to this sorrow and bitterness that rises up. Friend, let me take your hand. Give me the strength to stand and keep on walking. I've been told that the day would come when I would laugh and play in the sun, but the concept of hope is new. But I will trust these words are true. Don't let me build a house in this valley of tragedy. And don't let me cling to the sorrow and bitterness that rises up. Friend, let me take your hand. Give me the strength to stand and keep on walking. Keep on walking. We gotta keep on walking. Keep on walking.
Thank you, Sandy, so very much. Good morning. My name is Deshae McLeod, and I'm the President and CEO of Community Hospice, and I want to welcome everybody this morning to our annual Coping with the Holidays event. We've typically held this event on the evenings, and this is our first try to do it on a Saturday. So thank you for coming out. We hope this time was convenient for everyone. I do want to let everyone know that we are going to be videotaping the event today, and our speakers will be catching the backs of some of you guys in the front rows. If you prefer not to be in that video in some type of way, please let us know. We will find you another seat somewhere else and help you move, okay? So take advantage of that as well. Community Hospice has been serving our community for 40 years. Our mission is to provide compassionate and quality care, education, and support to terminally ill patients and their families, regardless of ability to pay. Our grief support services are not only available to our patients' families, but to anybody in the community that is grieving and suffering from a loss. And you're more than welcome to attend this event next year and the following year. It's not that you only get an invitation one time. We would like for you to join us every year. As the holidays approach, it can become very difficult as we remember our loved ones who are no longer with us. Today, we are here to explore ways and some tools as how we can provide better self-care to cope through this difficult time of the holidays quickly approaching without our loved ones with us. As we begin our program, I would like for just to take a quick reminder, if you have anything that beeps, tweets, or is going to ring at you or anyone else, would you please take a moment and check and silence those for us real quick? Also, I want to make a note of where the restrooms are. Please feel free. They are right out this door to my right. Take a right and then another right, and you will be right there, and they'll be on your left. But there's a sign there. If you need assistance in any type of way while you are here at Community Hospice, please feel free to ask any of us, and we are more than welcome. We have many staff members, as well as many of our volunteers that are here with us today. We usually have a badge on that looks something like this, but we really want you to feel comfortable today for this program. We also have light refreshments in the back of the room, so please take advantage of those at the conclusion of our program. And feel free to stick around and chat with some of us. It really helps our staff and us as we hear your stories. And I do want to say personally and on behalf of Community Hospice, thank you for the great honor and privilege if we have been in your home helping you care for your loved one. Thank you for that opportunity to do that. And as I glance around the room this morning, there's one theme that I know all of us have in common in some shape, form, or fashion, is that we've experienced a loss and we are approaching the holidays with all of us having a hole in our heart somewhere. So please take this time to also share together. We are grateful to have the opportunity today for our program. As part of our program is to be listening to 3 very special stories from 3 individuals, and I think you'll get a true blessing out of this. So once again, on behalf of Community Hospice, thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. My name is Sue Garcia. I'm one of the grief support specialists here at Hospice. And on behalf of the Community Hospice staff, I would really like to take this moment to thank our 3 persons who spoke on this video. They did a wonderful job, and I'm so grateful that they allowed us to do this, to share with you, to help us. So thank you, Bev and Bob and Ronnie. It's now my pleasure to introduce Sandy Gunnarson, our keynote speaker for this morning for our Coping with the Holiday workshop, Self-Care During the Holidays. Sandy is the founder and director of Sojourn Ministries, as well as Inspire, which is a monthly luncheon where women gather together to connect, encourage, inspire each other. And she's currently the director of California facilities at Self-Help Federal Credit Union. And as you can see, Sandy is a talented singer and songwriter. She has a recorded debut CD entitled Sweet Mercy, which includes 12 original songs. You may have seen them out in the reception area. And she's also been involved in ministry as a featured speaker and singer at churches, women's retreats, worship seminars, as well as leading worship for over 25 years. In 2010, Sandy's personal life took a dramatic turn when, after having lived as a single woman for 40 years, she became a wife and mother of 4, all in one day. Her husband Mike is currently on staff at City Ministry Network, and thank you, Mike, for joining us here today. So for the past 20 years, before marrying Mike, Sandy shared a home with her best friend, companion, and brother, Phil. In 2018, Phil suddenly passed away, and it left a huge void. Her personal story of coping while grieving, you'll hear this morning, along with her song, Walking Through a Valley of Tragedy. So we're honored to have Ms. Sandy Gunnarson with us today, sharing about self-care during the holiday season. So please join me in honoring and welcoming Sandy.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm not new to hospice. I have considered it an honor to be a volunteer at the hospice house years ago, and I have been one of the featured singers for the hospice events, and I almost ended up in the hospital right there. But I considered an honor being here today. Instead of using the podium, I wanted to have like an atmosphere of a very large living room. Okay, so if it's okay, I'm going to be sitting on a stool and sharing my story because like yours, my story is continuing even today. And it was a year ago that we first experienced that tragic event, but how many know there's no time frame on our grief? So thank you for having me today. And let me just get situated for a moment. My personal story, I'm going to start when I was 25. I was currently in Washington State at a Bible college, and it was time to come back home to Modesto, California. My brother Phil, he was a pharmacist and single, and I stated, hey, can I move in with you until I get on my feet? Well, 3 houses, and 20 years later, we were still roommates. Pretty cool when you're a roommate with your sibling as an adult, right? And so we loved life together. We vacationed together. We talked about retiring together. And in 2006, he encouraged me, hey, it's time for you to fulfill one of your biggest dreams, which for me was to record an album of original songs. So in 2006, I went into the studio and I started recording this album. During that same time in 2006, I received an email from one of my closest friends from college, Danelle. And Danelle said, hey, do you remember the Gunnarsons, Mike and Debbie Gunnarson? They attended Northwest College with us. Debbie has become one of my best friends. And she was just recently diagnosed with leukemia. Could you just be praying for her? Okay. So on a weekly basis, I was receiving these emails from Danelle, an email blast. She was the point person for the Gunnarson family and sending out all of the notifications of what was happening. So for 2006 and part of 2007, I was receiving these emails along with recording my album. On August 31st, 2007, I received the email that stated, Debbie passed away yesterday. And all of a sudden, my heart was overwhelmed with grief. And I didn't understand it because I don't remember even having a conversation with this woman. I knew of her, but I didn't know her. So why am I just grieving so deeply? So I start writing down these emotions. And before I know it, it's like, I think I just wrote a song, and I think it's for her husband. So I share it with Danelle, and I said, hey, I want to record this. I feel like this needs to be on my album, but I don't want to make it look like I'm trying to take advantage of a tragic situation. So does this make sense? Does this make sense that this is a song for her husband? And he said those very words just this last week. Okay, so I said, get his approval, get his thumbs up, because I want to record it and I want to dedicate this song to him in my liner notes of the CD. So she gave me the thumbs up. He said, okay. So I go ahead and I record the song. And it comes to me in the mail, the CDs, Christmas Day 2007. It's in the first CD, sign it to Mike Gunnarson, send it to Danelle. And that's it. I'm thinking, okay. So I did what I was supposed to do and continued on with my job and, singing. Well, 2009, Danelle has her 40th birthday in Washington, and she says, hey, can you come up for my birthday party? And I find out Mike Gunnarson's going to be there. Okay. So I'm planning to be there. All along, my sister and my mom, who happen to be in the front row right here, my biggest cheerleaders, my sister says, hey, Mike Gunnarson's going to be there? And I said, yeah, that's the guy you wrote the song for, right? Yes. And remember, I'm a single woman in my 40s. So my family's very interested when there's a single available man. My sister says, Sandy, wouldn't it just be like God, how he works in your life? Wouldn't it just be so incredible if you wrote a song for the man you're going to spend the rest of your life with? I mean, wouldn't it just be something if blessings could come out of tragedy like that? And my response to her was, shut up. That was not where my mind was, right? And so I go to the party. I meet Mike Gunnarson. And, as they say, the rest is history. That was July 25th, 2009. 14 months to the day, I became the wife and mother of 4 children. My brother Phil was so a part of that journey because when Mike and I met and he wanted to court me at 40, which is unheard of, right? He went to my brother and he said, I know this may sound crazy, but I know the relationship you have with your sister. Can I court your sister? My brother gave his blessing. When it came time for Mike to ask me for my hand in marriage, he went to my brother first and said, I want to marry your sister. Can I have your blessing? He gave his blessing. And on my wedding day, my brother Phil walked down the aisle with me, my father on one side and my brother on the other. And it was my brother Phil that gave me away to my husband. And that was a very special day of going from my brother's home to my husband's home, to becoming a wife for the first time and a mother of 4 for the first time. At the time, the children were 9 to 16. Brianna was the oldest at 16, then Thomas, then Brandon, and Nathan. Incredible children, and I'm so blessed that out of tragedy came blessings. My kids call me Mom, and let me tell you, I worked hard for that. We worked hard for that, but a blessing came out of a tragedy. So in a moment, I'm going to sing the song for you that I actually wrote for Mike, and I just think it's so special that before I ever had a conversation with this man that I call my husband, he was in my CD. And this is what it says. I began writing this song after hearing that Debbie had gone home to be with Jesus. In honor of her, I would like to dedicate this song to her husband, Mike Gunnarson, and their family. So at this point, I would love, and I'm pulling double duty. I'm speaking and I'm the sound person. Okay? How do I let you go? How do I say goodbye? How do I spend these lonely days without you by my side? Where do I go from here? Where do I even start? Where will I ever find the courage to live with this broken heart? My head believes and understands the hand of love is in command, but my heart is trying simply to survive. I've seen His mercy, I've seen His grace as He ushered you into that beautiful place. I still can't help but question why. I know that you're at peace. I know your pain is gone. And I know that you are with the angels, singing a lovely song. But when will this all make sense? And when will these dark clouds clear? And when will I wake up from this dream and find that you're still here? My head believes and understands the hand of God is in command, but my heart is trying simply to survive. I've seen His mercy, I've seen His grace as He ushered you into that beautiful place. I still can't help but question why. I've seen His mercy, I've seen His grace as He ushered you into that beautiful place. I still can't help but question why. How do I let you go? Thank you. My husband, Mike Gunnarson, is right back there. Not to put him on the spot, but he is my blessing. And I must tell you, since my brother passed away, that was the first time I've sang this song, and brings a whole new level, whole new meaning. But I'm getting ahead of my story. September 25th, 2010, the day that I became the wife and mother of four, best day of my life. Hands down, best day of my life. But how many know that they lived happily ever after? It doesn't always happen. And one day short of 8 years later, after my wedding day, I received a call that changed my life forever. And I'm sure many of you in here know what I'm talking about, but that call was my husband saying, you need to come to Phil's house right now. He's not breathing. And it's as if that information transported me to a different place, a different world, a world that I call the Valley of Tragedy. The Valley of Tragedy, it is a dry and dusty land. It's hard. It is a rugged terrain. But yet at the same time, it is miles and miles and miles of just flat dust. No life, dry. Dead trees, bushes. It is not a vacation destination, right? So I find myself in this valley and I'm carrying such a heavy weight. And it's as if there's a backpack on me, and it's my pack of grief. I'm carrying this heavy backpack, and as I look what's inside, I recognize emotional grenades. These emotional grenades have names: anger, resentment, regret, fear. The if-onlys. If only I would have known. If only I would have. If only they would have. If only you would have. And how about this one? Why? Why did my brother work so stinking hard all his life to only experience 11 months of retirement? Why? Each of these grenades, they're unique in size and they're unique in name to each of our journeys, because our journeys are all unique. We may all be in the same valley, but it's a different journey. Each grenade can be triggered by any and everything. You know that to be true? This morning, I woke up, I opened up my guitar case, and I left it open for a purpose here. Years ago, I was playing guitar in our house, my brother and I. He threw dollar bills in my guitar case to say, I believe in you. Those dollar bills have never left my guitar case. And this morning when I opened it up, I went, okay, a trigger, right? Firsts are really hard. The first day after, the first week after, the first month, anniversaries, birthdays, the first anything, the first memory or experience that you have without that loved one. It's hard. My first was eating an apple. My brother, eating an apple. My brother, I loved him so much, but he loved to irritate me. And so he would eat an apple. He would take the apple, take the sticker off, put the sticker on our granite countertop, wash the apple, get a paper towel, dry the apple, put the paper towel under the sink in the trash, and then eat the apple. The next day, take an apple, take the sticker off, put it on top of the other sticker. You get the routine. That was daily. It got to the point where it's like, how many stickers are going to be piled up on this beautiful granite countertop, right? So one day, I said, you are an intelligent man. You're a pharmacist. I know you know the garbage can is under the sink because you put the paper towel there. So why is it that the stickers are piling up? So, little tangent. M&Ms. The commercial right now, the hazelnut commercial where the spokesperson says, and now hazelnut. And the curtain opens and all the M&Ms are lined up and they have the hazelnut on their mouth and the big yellow peanut M&M. He goes, when the spokesperson says, what happened to hazelnut? And what does he say? We ate them. That was my brother Phil. When I said, why is it that you cannot take these stickers and put them in the trash? He says, because it irritates you and I like it. So what do you think happened the first time I ate an apple? At the kitchen sink. I took the sticker, I didn't put it on the ground. I put the sticker on the countertop. I washed it. I took the paper towel. I dried it. I put the paper towel in the garbage can. And with tears coming down my face, I said, thank you, Phil. Anytime I eat an apple, I think of him. It's a trigger, but it's a trigger that's becoming what I'm calling an altar of remembrance. A place that I can go to and have a good memory and to thank him and to say his name out loud. These backpacks that we're wearing on our backs and the emotional grenades, how many know that grenades are explosive? They're volatile. They cannot be contained or controlled. They go off in the most inopportune times. We can zip them up. We can try to control them and say, oh, you're staying in here today. Oh, they don't listen. They explode. And so here I am in this valley. Here we are in this valley. We have these explosives on our backs. What's our plan? What's our plan for this journey? And you know what? Because again, we didn't choose to be here. Didn't choose to be here. And our number one goal, it should be, how do we get out of here? How do we move forward? Because we don't want to live here, right? How do we move forward? And I started thinking about this. I didn't choose to be in this valley, but I do have choices as I'm walking in this valley. I do have choices. We each have choices. So today, and I'm sure there's other choices, but today I want to be able to talk about 3 choices. The first choice is this. We can stay where we're at, walking in the circles of denial. La, 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 explosions are going off. I don't hear them. I don't see them. I know I'm creating casualties everywhere because of my actions. I don't see them. I'm in denial. That's a choice. Is it a healthy choice? Probably not. But unaddressed grenades that we're carrying on our back, somehow they get heavier. Do you know that to be true? Sometimes they become more volatile, more explosive when they are just left undealt with. And if we choose to live in that denial and don't walk through the process of grieving, it's as if we're choosing to, and this is our second choice, it's as if we're choosing to build a house, like what I sang prior. Living inside of our tragedies. We just build a house. We set down roots and say, we're going to stay here. I know it's painful, but I don't want to deal with this pain. I've noticed that people that build houses in this valley, they tend to belong to an HOA, a homeowners association of other house builders. And they just have their community of anger and resentment and coping mechanisms just to deal with the numbness. The potential of blessings coming out of our tragedies will never take place if we choose to live within them. This brings me to the third choice, and if you haven't got it right now, this is the one we're really proposing that we do, okay? And that is this. Let's follow the signs, the exit signs that point, exit this way, and let's keep walking. If we walk through this journey, what does that look like? What does it look like to keep walking? It's choosing to respond and work through the daily explosions of emotional grenades. Of the grenades that are going off, not just daily, but each moment. But dealing with them, working through them, addressing them. And as we deal with these grenades, they eventually get lighter and less volatile. As we learn how to manage them, in some cases, we can actually learn to disarm them and ultimately discard them. Does that make sense? To discard these things. Can we do it on our own? Can we walk this journey by ourselves? We may try, but we need companions. We need people that can walk with us because this journey is really tough. So again, I'm going to propose 4 different types of personalities that are really great to have as we're walking this journey. The first is trusted guides. A friend who is a trusted guide, one that dares to lead us. They help us follow those exit signs. We may be going off in our own direction. It's like, oh, I think we want to go this way. They're empathetic. We need people to stand by us, to not just say, I'm so sorry. Thank you. We need people that understand our pain, that are loyal enough that when the explosions go off, they're not going to take it personal. They know the pain. They know you didn't mean it. They're loyal. They're the ones that are saying, you know what? I'm going to help you maneuver through this emotional explosion. And you know what? There is going to be carnage of people around. And I've got you. You know, I've got you. The second is we need good listeners. People don't know how to, for the most part, they don't know how to respond to grief. It really is like the elephant in the room. People, what I have seen, they can be afraid of silence and those awkward pauses. And they feel like they have to interject their own awkwardness in those silent pauses. So finding people that are there that just can listen, because a part of the grieving process truly is talking it out. We need to walk it out, but it's talking it out, saying your loved one's name, telling the stories, keeping their memory alive. That is a part of the grief process of walking it out. And you need people that understand that, okay? The third is we need protectors. And I say protectors because we need truth tellers. Those people that will tell us what we need, because sometimes we don't know what we need, right? Remind us, did you eat today? Kind of silly, but sometimes we need to be reminded of that. Did you drink water today? Are you sleeping? How many hours are you sleeping? Are you sleeping too much? I was sharing this with my daughter, Brianna, and I'm going to put her on the spot because she just walked in right there in the corner. And I shared with her this message. And I said, what do you think? Because she was 13 when her mom passed away. And I said, does this make sense, what I'm talking about? And she said, you know what? It does, because sometimes you need people in your life to tell you it's okay to take a break from grief. Sometimes people need to be given the permission to say, you mean I can laugh again? You mean I can do something fun for me? I can enjoy life again? And you know what? Sometimes we need a break from grief. She also said this. In order to feel normal, sometimes you have to do normal things. So what she had stated was, Moms, just let them know that it's important for them to take showers each day. Little practical thing in there, right? If you want to feel normal, sometimes you got to continue doing normal things in your life, even though it hurts, even though you don't want to, okay? Truth tellers help remind us what we need, but they also help others know what you need. You know, this last year, a good friend of mine at work, she lost her little baby boy to a drowning in their home pool. And a part of her grieving was to come back to work earlier than most people would. She did not want to be at home. That's where the tragedy happened. Makes sense. So before she came back to work, and I'm very close with her. Before she came back to work, I got the office together and I said, hey, we're like a family here, so what's our plan going to be? You know, let's choose to lean into this instead of let it be the elephant in the room. And I just spoke with her, and she would really appreciate you, like, coming into her office and, you know, talking with her, and it's okay to say his name. And so she began to tell me what she needed, and I was able to be that protector to share with the office, because I don't know about you, but my high school did not have Grief 101 as a class. And so sometimes you need people who have the sensitivity enough and the empathy to be able to walk with you to help others know how to respond to you. So as a team, we recognized, you know what, her family needs meals. She has 3 beautiful daughters and a husband, and they're all grieving, so let's set up a meal train. We could do that. You know, oh, she wants us to be able to set up weekly lunches. So in the office, we said, okay, you're Monday, you're Tuesday, you're Wednesday. We got her out of the office. I talked to her boss. I said, sometimes she just needs to talk. He gave me the authority to go in there, and there were days when I spent hours, and I mean literally hours, sitting there learning to listen to her talk. Sometimes we need people to tell others what we need. The 4th companion that I want to suggest to you is this: professionals. Sometimes we need professionals, counselors that can help us disarm, deactivate the emotions, the bombs that we're carrying on our backs. That's okay. Sometimes we need support groups. Is hospice incredible or what? Right? Coming together with people that are grieving on the same journey, being able to have empathy for each other. Because again, you need companions to walk you through. And sometimes those companions are on the journey, on their own journey, but those journeys intersect, okay? Groups are important to be able to come together and share. Pastoral care, so important. So important for you to understand what your needs are. And pastoral care is something that may be one of those areas, one of those companions that you need in your life. So, here's the biggest question of all today. How do we walk through this valley during the holidays? When we talk about the holidays, it's always associated with traditions, family gatherings, and memories. Okay, if you did not come from a healthy family, those 3 items alone are triggers for anxiety attacks, right? But put that together with a grief pack that is so incredibly heavy and exhausting, and explosions going off in and of themselves, how do you do it? As I stated, 2018, September 24th, worst day of my life, and when Phil passed away. And as a family, we had to come together. And I'm going to share with you 3 things that my family has experienced that have helped us during this past year. And the first is this: you need to set realistic expectations. Set realistic expectations, not just for yourself, but for those around you, because if you're grieving, most likely there's a sphere of people around you, a circle of people that are grieving too. As they stated on the video, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to celebrate different, and it's okay to celebrate not at all. But this is what I strongly suggest to you. Whatever your choice is, communicate it. Talk about it in your family. Make sure that everybody's on the same page. The way that they grieve may not be the same, but if everybody knows this is going to be one of those really weird holidays, so, this is how we're going to deal with it, it gives other people the permission to grieve, as well as yourself. So for ours, we always get together for Thanksgiving. So we came together as a family. My mom, who actually had lived with my brother before he passed away, we said, hey, can we actually have Thanksgiving here? What do you think? Well, let's talk about this. And her response was this: I'm okay with you coming over. I don't want to cook. If you want to cook, that's great. I don't know how I'm going to respond with all these people. And so if you're okay that I go off into my bedroom, we're okay. I can have you over. If you're good with that, do not try to coax me out of my bedroom. If we're all good with this, okay. By her saying that, she gave herself permission to grieve, but she also gave us permission to know how to respond to her. And it was so helpful because Thanksgiving, we were all there, and all of a sudden Mom disappeared. She's in her room. We didn't feel like we had to go check on her. We knew. And it was good. It was hard, but it was good. The second thing that is so important in the holidays is this: a flexible, scaled-down tradition. Flexible, scaled-down traditions. How many know you can't trust your emotions right now? And you may say on a Monday, I am feeling good. I'm going to have all 20 family members over. Don't worry about bringing anything. I'm going to cook. I'll even bake pies. Tuesday comes, I can't get out of bed. And so Thanksgiving at our house, 2018, my brother did a traditional Uncle Phil's breakfast. That was our tradition. An Uncle Phil's breakfast meant 3 to 4 different breakfast meats. It meant special drinks. It meant if you loved hot cocoa, he was going to have sipping chocolate. He was going to have the best of the best. That was his way of just like he loved to host Uncle Phil's breakfast. So, flexible, scaled-down traditions. I said, I don't want to cook. I do not want to do this breakfast. My kids. Well, of course we're going to do Uncle Phil's breakfast. It's tradition. And I'm thinking, how do you say no? How do you say we're not celebrating when your kids, who, regardless of what their age is, tradition to them is stability. Tradition to them is it's life continuing on. How do you do it? So I said, okay, we're going to have breakfast, but this is how it's going to go. 1 meat. They're like, huh, okay. And Uncle Phil's not here, so we're going to start a new tradition because the old norm is no longer. What's our new norm going to be? We're all going to help put this breakfast together. And as we work together, we're going to remember him, okay? We're going to share memories. We're going to have the tradition, but it's going to be scaled down and it's going to be flexible. The third that I really want to say is you got to have a plan B. You have to have an exit plan. And they even said it on the video there that sometimes you just need to give yourself a way out. You say yes to an RSVP, to a holiday party, but give yourself the permission to say, if I start feeling like I've got that deer in the headlights look, or that anxiety that says, just run, just run, just run, because you're afraid that an explosion of emotions are going to come anytime, give yourself a way out. Either say, no, thank you, I can't come, or, yes, I can come, but I may only be able to stay for a while. Or have your little strategy. You take your friend, and when you say, kind of have a headache, that's your plan B. They know that that's the trigger phrase. It's really important to do that so that you can cope and still try to move, still trying to walk through this, right? So we get to the point of the journey where we're transitioning out of the valley. Transitioning out of the valley. This is the part of the journey where in the midst of the rocks and the dust, you can see patches of wildflowers. Wildflowers that might represent possibilities of hope, the possibilities of joy, just possibilities. Each of our journey is personal, no standard time frame. The grieving period may end or even lessen, and we may learn to manage our grief, but the scars of our journey, we take those with us. The scars of our journey, we take those with us. And I say this to you, I'm grateful for the scars of my journey. Those scars have become badges of honor. From walking through this tragedy with my friend, from walking through this tragedy of the loss of my brother, I can tell you, I know empathy. Empathy is my badge of honor. I know what it means to be quiet and listen. That's what I learned. That's another badge of honor. That's one of the scars that I hold on to say thank you. Thank you. That's one of the blessings that can come out of tragedies. As emotional grenades are eventually disarmed and some possibly discarded, our pack will most likely become lighter. But we may never completely ever lay it down. So this is my closing encouragement to each of us today, from one sojourner to another. Let's keep walking. Let's dare to keep walking. And as we keep walking and transition from this valley, blessings just may be around the corner. So thank you. And at this time, I would like to introduce Chaplain Joyce Kellums.
Good morning. Good morning. Grief is a challenge for each of us as we go through our first holiday season, and we can and we will get through it. Rather than trying to avoid our feelings of grief, just lean into them. A day will come when there will be less joy, less grief, and more joy. More seasons for joy and will come into our hearts. We cannot now hold our loved ones in our arms, but we can hold them in our hearts. We cannot hear them calling us, but we can carry their songs they left behind. We cannot walk beside us, but we will be their feet, bringing their beauty into this world. Now I would like to share a poem with you that I feel is fitting for today as the holidays are approaching. It doesn't seem to get any better, but it doesn't seem to get any worse either. For that, I am grateful. There are no more pictures to be taken. There are no more memories to cherish. For that, I am to be thankful. There is a missing chair at the table, and the circle of family gathers close. For that, I am thankful. The turkey is smaller, but there is still stuffing. For that, I am grateful. And the days are shorter, and the nights are softer. For that, I am thankful. The pain is still here, but it lasts only a moment. For that, I am thankful. The room is still empty. The soul still aches, but the heart remembers. For that, I am thankful. The guests still come. The dishes pile up, but the dishwasher works. For that, I'm thankful. The name is still missing. The word's still unspoken, but the silence is shared. For that, I am thankful. The silence remains, but the sadness is smaller. For that, I am thankful. The moment is gone, but the loved one is forever. For that, I am blessed. For that, I am grateful. And I would like to share, now in my closing, I would like to share a blessing with each of you. May the arms of love that are lined with peace and comfort hold each of you near this holiday season, for they are the arms that hold the healing balm of a grieving heart. Amen.
I'd like to thank each one of you for being here with us today. I hope that your holidays are peaceful and that you have reasons to find joy and create new memories, but never forgetting the old ones. I hope that you stay after and visit with us and some of our staff, enjoy some of the refreshments, and that you would like to ask more questions about some of our groups, our individual grief support, or whatever resources that we could provide for you. Thank you so much for being here, and may love be what you remember the most. Thank you.
I'd like to close this day out by singing a song by Laura Story. And this song is called Blessings. We pray for blessings. We pray for peace. Comfort for family. Protection while we sleep. We pray for healing. For prosperity. We pray for your mighty hand to ease our suffering, and all the while you hear each spoken need. Your love is way too much to give us less things. What if your blessings come through raindrops, or your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? We pray for wisdom, your voice to hear. We cry in anger when we cannot see you near. We doubt your goodness. We doubt your love. As if every promise from your word is not enough. And all the while you hear each desperate plea, and long that we'd have faith to believe. What if your blessings come through raindrops, and your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this this life are your mercies in disguise. When friends betray us, when darkness seems to win, we know the pain reminds this heart that this is not our home. And what if your blessings come through raindrops and your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if my greatest disappointments or the aching of this life is the revealing of a greater thirst this world can't satisfy? What if trials of this life, the rain, the storms, the darkest nights, are your mercies in disguise? Blessings to you. And at this time, you are dismissed, and thank you so much for coming.